Have you ever had one of those, brilliant ideas, something that just sparks in your mind, maybe late at night, and you just knew it was big?
Oh, absolutely. Happens all the time.
Right. Maybe you even stayed up, mapping it all out, every single step.
Yeah.
But then the next morning, poof, all that excitement, gone.
Yeah, that feeling is familiar, that gap between the great idea and actually doing something about it.
Exactly. That nagging feeling. We've all been bitten by that bug of procrastination, I think is what our source calls it.
It feels like a universal struggle, doesn't it? That feeling that you just lack willpower,
Mhm.
but there's often much more going on beneath the surface.
Which is precisely what we're diving into today. Welcome, everyone, to a deep dive into the fascinating world of human motivation. We're drawing some really powerful insights from Mohammed Shakil's book, The Psychology of Laziness.
And what's really interesting about this book, it's not just theory. It comes directly from his own life, his personal journey.
Yeah, he talks about being, a victim of overthinking, of procrastination, but he turned it all around, became India's youngest motivational speaker, recognized by the UN, even built this huge educational YouTube channel, Cool Mitra.
Millions of subscribers,
Yeah.
over 100 million views.
Yeah.
It's quite the story. He really put his ideas into practice.
He really did. So our mission on this deep dive is to unpack his observations, his research, to help you understand why you get stuck, where your time really goes, and maybe most importantly, how to harness your own psychology to turn thoughts into, well, action.
Think of it as maybe a shortcut, a way to finally squash that bug of procrastination.
Okay, let's kick things off with something we all say, right? That constant feeling, I just don't have enough time. It's the classic excuse.
It really is. We tell ourselves that, tell everyone else that. But Mohammed Shakil really challenges this idea head on.
He does, doesn't he? And he uses math, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, some startling math, actually.
Yeah.
He starts with the total hours in a year, 8760.
Okay, simple enough. 24 times 365. But then he starts subtracting. First, sleep. Let's say 8 hours a day.
Right. That's 2,920 hours gone right off the top. Leaves you with 5,840.
Then comes work, if you're doing a standard 40-hour week.
That takes out another 1,920 hours over the year. So now we're down to 3,920.
Okay, still sounds like a lot. But then he accounts for, daily necessities. Lunch, showering, maybe scrolling on your phone. He lumps that together.
He does. He allocates about 2 hours a day for those things. That's another 730 hours a year.
So, you do all that subtracting.
Yeah.
What are you left with?
And this is the kicker. You're left with 366 hours per year.
Wow. 3,190 hours.
Yeah. That breaks down to about 266 hours a month, or, get this, roughly 8 to 9 hours of spare time every single day.
That completely changes the perspective on not having enough time, doesn't it?
It really does. It flips the script entirely.
Which brings us to this, paradox. If we have all this hidden time, why do so many goals set in January just fade away by December?
We always think, oh, I still have time, until suddenly the year's gone. That brilliant idea is still just an idea, always in the making, never actually made.
It's frustrating. You end up rushing at the end, getting mediocre results, feeling demotivated.
And the potential of those 3,190 hours is just immense. I mean, hypothetically, he calculates you could read 531 books in a year if each took 6 hours.
Okay, now that sounds like a stretch. 531 books.
Right, and he acknowledges that. He says, look, it's a mechanical calculation. You're not a machine. Life happens, moods, getting sick, travel, family. You need breaks.
Of course. You can't just read nonstop for hours.
But his point is, even if you manage something much smaller, say 5 books a month, that's still incredibly transformative. That's 60 books a year.
That's still a huge amount of learning, and he really emphasizes books and learning, doesn't he?
He does, constantly. He points to people like J.K. Rowling, Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett. They all credit reading as a major key to their success.
It's not just about soaking up information, though. It's about, what? Learning from others.
Exactly. Leveraging their wisdom, their mistakes even. Why stumble through the same problems someone else already solved and wrote about? It saves you precious time in, as he puts it, our too short lives.
Okay, so if the time is there, 390 hours of it, where does it actually go for most people? This is the uncomfortable part, I suspect.
Yeah, this is where it gets a bit confronting for many of us. The answer, overwhelmingly, unconscious time spent on our smartphones.
Ah, the time thief.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And the scary part is how unaware we are. He cites research suggesting people check their phones maybe 100 times a day.
100 times, that seems high.
It does. But here's the thing. If you ask them, they estimate maybe 30 or 40 times. More than half the checks are happening without us even realizing it. Pure habit, unconscious.
That's, wow, a real lack of awareness. And it leads to things like nomophobia. What's that exactly?
It's basically the fear of being without your phone, that little panic when you realize you left it at home.
I think we've all felt that.
Right. But it's more than just fear. Constant phone use, he argues, actually diminishes our ability to memorize things. We outsource it. All contacts, facts we could learn.
We just Google it, so parts of our brain become kind of redundant.
In a way, yes. We're not exercising those memory muscles.
Yeah.
And crucially, this isn't an accident.
What do you mean?
These apps, these platforms, they're designed by big tech companies to be addictive. They meticulously study user data, what we like, how long we watch, what grabs our attention.
Using algorithms and AI.
Exactly. Artificial intelligence, tailored to keep you scrolling, keep you hooked. It's designed to control your attention. Psychologists, he notes, even say social media addiction can be as damaging as, say, alcohol or nicotine addiction.
That's a really serious comparison. As bad as alcohol or gambling.
It's a strong claim, but he points to the potential psychological impact. And he mentions this really dangerous ratio he observes. For every 1 hour, you use your phone productively.
Yeah.
You might be spending 9 hours using it addictively, non-productively, just scrolling, consuming passively.
9 to 1, that's staggering. And it must impact relationships, too.
Hugely. He has this chilling line, everybody is ignoring each other and nobody is aware of it.
Yeah.
Think about family dinners, time with friends. How often is someone looking at a screen instead of the person in front of them?
It's true. A silent relationship killer, as he calls it. And what about health? Physical health? Mental health?
Oh, the list is long. Forgetfulness, confusion, stress, even physical things like back pain from posture, maybe reduced physical strength if you're sedentary.
And mentally.
Mentally, it can be linked to depression. He cites a Northwestern University study, quite specific actually. It found people recovering from smartphone addiction experienced depression for about 68 minutes on average, compared to just 17 minutes for others.
That's a significant difference. And sleep. We all know screens before bed are bad, right?
Definitely. That blue light messes with melatonin, the sleep hormone. Apparently, it blocks it twice as effectively as green light, so poor sleep follows.
Which leads to low energy and reduced productivity the next day. It's a vicious cycle.
Absolutely. And just for a fun, slightly gross fact.
Oh, what now?
A University of Arizona study found smartphones carry 10 times more bacteria than a toilet seat.
Okay, maybe I won't eat while scrolling anymore. That's unpleasant.
Right. Makes you think. But maybe one of the most worrying long-term effects he discusses is on our attention span.
Ah, yes. The short videos, the constant switching.
Exactly. Platforms like Instagram Reels, TikTok, they train our brains to expect something new every, 20 or 30 seconds. It makes it incredibly hard to focus on longer things. Reading a book, watching a full tutorial. It feels almost painful sometimes.
You lose the ability for deep focus. And he makes this uncomfortable point, too, about the people selling these addictive products.
Yeah, that one hits home. He says often the people creating and marketing these addictive technologies aren't addicted themselves.
Like a cigarette seller who doesn't smoke?
Precisely. Or a drug specialist who doesn't use. They understand the potential harm. It's a stark reminder.
So the call to action here is personal awareness.
Yes. He strongly urges you, the listener, to actually go into your phone's settings. Look at your screen time report. See the reality for yourself. It might be a real eye-opener.
Okay, so we've identified the time thief. Now let's talk about getting things done. It's not just about having time, right? You need energy.
Absolutely fundamental. Productivity requires energy. Understanding that mind-body connection is crucial. If you're drained, nothing's going to happen no matter how many hours you have.
So how do you tap into that energy? He has this mental exercise, the 6 months to live thing.
Yes, it's a powerful thought experiment, he asks. If you knew for sure you only had 6 months left, would you still procrastinate? Would you worry so much about failing? Would you wait for everything to be perfect before starting?
Probably not. You just go for it.
Exactly. It connects to what Steve Jobs said about remembering death helping him make big decisions. Shaquille argues this mindset creates fearlessness, urgency. The fear isn't failure anymore. It's the fear of not doing anything at all.
That's a major shift. And it ties into another point. He makes the difference between just learning something and actually applying it.
Critical distinction. So many people collect knowledge, read books, watch videos, but never implement.
They know a lot, but don't do a lot.
Right. And he argues they often achieve less than someone who knows maybe less, but takes more action. He uses this analogy.
The wells.
Yeah, the wells. 5 wells yielding water are more beneficial than 100 wells yielding no substantial gains. Knowledge is only useful if you use it. Application creates value.
Which leads perfectly into the power of habits.
Converting learning into habits is key. Habits are like automation for your brain.
They free up mental energy.
Totally. You don't have to constantly decide to do it. It just happens. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't need motivation for that, right?
Not really, no. It's just automatic.
Exactly. Habits bypass the need for motivation. They become second nature. Your subconscious takes over, which increases your stamina because your conscious brain isn't getting exhausted making the same decisions over and over.
But, okay, if habits are so great, why do we often start something with tons of excitement and then it just fizzles out? That initial motivation disappears.
Yeah, the fading motivation mystery. Shaquille says it's often because we don't understand our brain's control system. We don't get what's driving that initial buzz.
So there's a scientific reason for that initial excitement.
There is.
Yeah.
And understanding it is apparently key to overcoming procrastination and adopting the mindset of successful people. The secret. It's a chemical called dopamine.
Dopamine. We hear that word a lot. The feel-good chemical.
Sort of, but it's more complex. It's the brain's reward system, yes, but it also drives craving and motivates hard work towards a reward. It kicks in when we feel thrill, excitement, achievement.
Like discovering something new, creating art, solving a puzzle.
Winning a game, exactly. All those things trigger dopamine. But, and this is crucial,
Uh-oh, there's a but.
there is, dopamine is also responsible for the kick or high from destructive things. Smoking, drugs, gambling.
Yeah.
They hijack that same reward system.
Ah, so that's why they're so addictive, even when you know they're bad for you.
Precisely. The dopamine hit overrides the rational knowledge. Shaquille's point is stark. It's your choice whether you get your dopamine fix from productive work or destructive habits.
Okay, so how do we encourage the productive kind of dopamine? Are there practical ways?
Yes, thankfully, he lists several. Meditation is a big one.
Meditation, how does that help dopamine?
It increases focus, reduces stress, and he cites research suggesting just an hour of meditation can boost dopamine levels by something like 64%.
Wow, 64%. That's significant. What else?
Exercise and yoga. Pretty obvious maybe, but they genuinely boost mood, fight laziness, and release endorphins and dopamine.
Makes sense. Moving your body feels good.
Then there's proper sleep. We mentioned dopamine keeps us awake with screens, but getting enough sleep 7 to 9 hours is the usual recommendation is vital for dopamine release during the day. It fuels focus and energy.
So good sleep equals better daytime motivation.
Got it. Music is another one. He personally finds it a huge mood and energy booster. Even using it while working, it taps right into that dopamine pathway.
Like a personal soundtrack for productivity.
Kind of. And finally, nutrition. Simple but true. You are what you eat. Your diet directly impacts your brain function, your mood, your energy levels.
So understanding all these hormones, dopamine, melatonin, it gives you more control.
That's the idea. You become aware of what triggers happiness, what triggers sadness or lethargy. You realize moods are often just temporary chemical states. And that awareness gives you a sense of agency, a way to manage your emotional state more intentionally.
Okay, this is all fascinating, understanding the time, the energy, the brain chemistry. But now, the practical bit. How do we actually set goals and, crucially, start?
Right. Moving from knowledge to action. Shaquille uses a really neat analogy here. Filmmaking.
Filmmaking, how does that relate to goals?
Think of your goal like making a movie. It starts as just an idea, a thought, but then it needs a script, right?
Yeah, a detailed plan. Dialogue, scenes, camera angles.
Exactly. And writing your goals down is like writing that script. It provides clarity, direction. You, he says, are the director. Your mind and body, they're the actors.
And you need to direct them properly otherwise.
Otherwise, it's a disaster, a messy, unfocused life. Writing it down gives you that control.
And he talks about breaking things down.
Yes, hugely important. Divide big, overwhelming goals into tiny, micro goals. His example is becoming a video editor.
Okay, what would the micro goals be?
Simple steps: buy a laptop, learn basic computer skills, learn the editing software, practice, enhance your skills, then aim to make a living from it.
Take small steps, picture big. I like that.
It gives you a blueprint, removes the confusion, the anxiety of where do I even begin?
And that leads to another really powerful statement he makes. Once you begin, you have completed 50% of the work.
It's such a motivating thought, isn't it? The hardest part isn't the whole journey. It's overcoming that initial inertia, just starting.
So for those of us staring at that starting line, frozen.
Yeah.
How do we break through?
He brings back that deathbed mentality, that 6 months to live idea.
Mhm.
Would you hesitate then? Would you hit snooze? Obsess over perfection?
No way. You just start with whatever you had.
Exactly. He says the two biggest roadblocks to starting are, one, procrastination, just endless thinking, planning, replanning.
Analysis paralysis.
Right. And two, a lack of what he calls dire necessity, a real compelling reason why you need to do this now.
Okay, let's tackle the overthinking first. How do you stop that endless loop?
He has some good hacks. First, realize overthinking is unhelpful whether the thoughts feel positive or negative. Just daydreaming about success drains energy you need for actual work.
So stop just thinking, start doing. How?
Question your thoughts. Remember, you are the thinker, not the thoughts themselves. Ask yourself, is it important to think about this right now? Or is it more important to work on it?
Usually the answer is work, I guess.
Almost always.
Yeah.
And another question. What affects your future more? What you're doing right now or the thoughts swirling in your head? Action. It's always action.
And finally, the perfectionism trap.
Yes. Embrace imperfection. Don't wait for the perfect moment, the perfect resources, the perfect mood. It'll likely never come.
He says something like, a mediocre impression is better than no impression.
A mediocre impression for the first time is far better than no impression at all. Because waiting for perfect often means waiting forever. His warning is stark. Later means never.
Later means never. Okay, so if overthinking and perfectionism are roadblocks, what's the ultimate fuel? He mentioned necessity.
Yes, that's the ultimate driver. A strong internal sense of necessity. He argues that real breakthroughs like inventing electricity didn't come from just wanting something mildly. They came from a burning need.
Can you give some examples?
Sure. He talks about vegan lost in the wilderness survival might force them to eat meat. Necessity overrides principle. Or people from extreme poverty driven to achieve incredible success.
It's not just a wish, it's a need.
Or think about protecting your family from harm. You don't need a motivational seminar for that. The necessity creates unstoppable force.
So the advice is to make our goals feel like emergencies.
Essentially, yes. Attach a big motif, a powerful why to your goals. Transform them from nice-to-haves into must-dos. Make them feel urgent, necessary. That mindset, he believes, vaporizes lethargy, procrastination, perfectionism.
Once you do start, the brain helps out with dopamine.
Exactly. Once you take action, your brain starts getting those little dopamine rewards for progress. And that creates a positive feedback loop. Your brain starts pushing you forward, making it harder to just sit idle.
It builds its own momentum.
Precisely. Which leads to his final, powerful piece of advice, almost a mantra.
What is it?
With whatever resources you have, whatever actions you can take, just being there where you are, whatever you know is enough, put it all, whatever your might is, just begin.
Just begin. Powerful.
And his final insight ties it all together. The only fear should be inaction. Not failure. Failure is data. Failure is learning. Inaction. Inaction is just stagnation. Nothing happens.
Wow. Okay, so that was quite the journey. We've really taken a deep dive into the psychology of laziness, haven't we? Uncovered those hidden hours.
Seeing how our tech subtly steals our focus.
Understood the science of motivation, that dopamine piece.
And got a practical framework for setting goals and, maybe most importantly, just starting.
So with all this fresh in your mind, here's something to think about. If you could manufacture that emergency, that compelling necessity for yourself, what dream would you finally begin working on today?
What's the one thing that necessity could unlock for you?
Maybe think about that one small, imperfect step you can take right now, just to get your director brain moving.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.